Good Wednesday evening, everybody. Live and direct from the News Channel 3 Home Office Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Austen Onek with an update as to what's going on with the weather situation. Your complete forecast coming up here in just a little bit. Some new changes to the Mid-South forecast with the potential of snowfall going back up again. Whether or not it stays that way, well, you're going to have to stay tuned and find out more about that. We'll have more information with Jim Jaggers on News Channel 3 at 10. And, of course, Todd Demers will have your complete forecast in the bright and early morning hours of Thursday when the snow starts to fall across parts of the Mid-South. Now, as of right now, again, we're just not seeing a great potential for the possibility of snowfall out there. We'll talk more about that coming up in just a few minutes. Questions, concerns, or anything else you'd like to see on here, please let me know at austin.onek@wreg.com, and I'll be glad to answer questions about what's going on across portions of the area or something else that you would like to see out there. Taking a look at what's happening across portions of the area and just beyond, over toward Nashville and the Tennessee Eastern Plateau area, that's where we're seeing a winter weather advisory issued. Also back over to around the Knoxville area into around upwards of the Morristown National Weather Service area, portions of the western Great Smoky Mountains, and also back up to around areas up around Bowling Green, back to much of Kentucky, about the eastern three-quarters of the state under winter weather advisories, and down to the south as we go into around the area of middle portions of Alabama. We have a winter storm watch going into effect, with, again, the possibility of seeing some more snowfall down into portions of the areas of Alabama coming up within the course of the next couple of days, including through Friday. It's going to be kind of a 1-2 punch. Now, looking around the Mid-South area, you're not seeing too much of anything going on at this time. No advisories at this point. We'll talk more about that coming up here in just a little while. Snow accumulations in a special weather statement from the National Weather Service showing, again, the potential of snowfall up to an inch of snowfall at this point. Impacts, again, expected to be minor given the accumulations at this point in time. Travel problems could be a bit of an issue, especially on elevated roadway surfaces. That could be something to take a look at. Temperatures near freezing Thursday evening through Saturday morning, so we could be looking at some problems out across portions of the Mid-South as we go into the course of the next couple of days. So that is going to be something we are going to have to watch with a decent amount of interest, especially if you or anybody you know is traveling, and that, again, could be something to take a look at. We'll show you a little bit more about what we're seeing in the forecast coming up here in just a little bit. A summary of the forecast, again, showing into Thursday morning, tomorrow morning. That's where we see the potential of some snowfall beginning, mainly along and north of I-40. Then into Thursday noon, that continues, but it looks like the bulk of the heavier snowfall going back through the Appalachians, down through, again, the Ohio River Valley into much of Kentucky. That's through about noon on Thursday. 6 p.m. on Friday or Thursday evening through about Friday. This is where, again, we see another storm system riding its way along the Gulf Coast states. Now, as this goes along, it could be enough to stir up some more moisture and throwing it back up this direction, and that could increase the portions of the Mid-South that could see different parts of different types of snowfall, different types of winter weather precipitation into portions of the area coming up on Friday night. That's where we see a lot of activity from roughly around portions of central Louisiana through southern Mississippi, middle Alabama, northwestern Georgia, and all the way to the East Coast states, with a mixture of rain and snowfall out there. That, again, could be a bit of a problem as we go into Friday night as that storm system ends and heads its way on out of the picture. If this low gets any more intense, we could be looking at a lot more moisture going on through. But as of right now, does not look like that's a case, as nobody is watching that particular system until it gets over portions of the East Coast states, which means I would be looking for more problems from Chesapeake Bay down toward Florida even, of some winter weather potential out there. But for right now, the storm system is going to be, again, focusing on areas north and east of the area as that area of low pressure dives its way along the coast, more moisture coming up this direction, and we are going to be on kind of the tail edge of this as it gets its way on through. The other problem we've got is we're looking at some fairly dry conditions across much of the area. So as of right now, the atmosphere is just not primed for a big snowfall event. Now, if we get tons more moisture coming up from the Gulf, which is possible, but not likely, it looks like we could wind up with a little bit more in the way of snowfall. So what are the computer models taking a look from the meteogram generator from Iowa State? Every single line and color on here represents one computer model, and there are several of them on here to take a look at what is going to be plotted at this time. Now, it looks like the snow is going to be getting somewhere around Thursday night, late into around Friday, for that next potential of that storm system coming on through for the Memphis metro area. And that, again, is where we're going to be seeing the potential of snowfall. Now, a couple of these models are ramping up the snow to around 1 inch or so, but they are in the minority. There's only a couple of them at this time that are going that far higher. We're looking again at mainly around, it looks like, according to some of these, right along the mean is going to be about maybe a 0.2 of an inch to around 1/4 of an inch, and that's going to be, again, not that much, but it may be enough to cause problems if you are going to be traveling. So that is, again, going to be the main thing out there. This is the accumulated snowfall forecast, going down a little bit farther into around the area of different types of precipitation, freezing rain accumulation, nothing expected at this time. Goose eggs all the way across on that. Likewise on sleet, we're just not seeing anything in the way of problems. So it's going to be snow this time around, and not that much of it, again, unless something changes with all that moisture. We have winter storm watches and warnings pretty much almost all the way across the entire country, from California all the way to Pennsylvania. And that is going to be seeing, again, some potential problems with travel. Could be some slowdowns, especially from this next one coming through around Denver. Could be around maybe 8 to 12 inches of snow out this direction, and also the possibility of some bitterly cold Arctic air coming on through. Now, for Nashville, they have issued a winter weather advisory for the plateau and also for areas in and around Middle Tennessee, close to the Nashville metro area. So this includes Murfreesboro down toward Franklin, Clarksville, into that area, and seeing, again, some very good possibilities for snow in this location. Now, the timing right here looks like it's going to be starting into and around the late morning hours tomorrow, and then going through the rest of Middle Tennessee into the rest of the evening down to the south. So starting up around Clarksville through Nashville about lunchtime, and then down through around areas approaching Manchester, Waynesboro, Columbia, and outside of Murfreesboro and Franklin could be a bit of a problem there. Plus, if you're traveling I-40 going west to east, heading towards, say, Knoxville, this could be also a problem for you if you're going to be going that direction. Now, how much are we looking at? Again, according to the computer models, we're not seeing a lot in the area around Middle Tennessee, but the farther east you go, that's where we start seeing more problems around Cookeville, Crossville, Jamestown, up around the plateau, and getting into around the Great Smokies. There could be a lot more snowfall out that direction, but so far it doesn't really look like too much of a problem there. Here in the Mid-South, again, we do not have anything. Notice the purple colors, that's the winter weather advisory back toward the Middle Tennessee area, but nothing has been issued as of right now because the National Weather Service is thinking that there's really just not that much that is going to be happening for this particular area. Going to go a little bit farther into the future and going to around 6 o'clock in the morning on Friday. The computer models here showing, again, just really not that much taking place, maybe half an inch of snow around the Nashville area, but notice what goes on up around Louisville, Frankfort, Cincinnati, Evansville. Portions of the Ohio River Valley get a decent amount from the Mississippi all the way back to West Virginia. About maybe 1.5 inches to around 4 inches of snowfall are going to be possible through that location. Now, down to the south, a little bit farther, we're going to be looking a little bit more carefully into what's coming our way by Friday afternoon and evening. It looks like, again, that 1-2 punch we were talking about heads on through. And by about Friday evening, there's going to be that potential of maybe seeing some more precipitation in and around portions of the area just south of the Mid-South, which is why that winter storm watch has been posted for areas in and around Birmingham and central portions of Alabama. That's where we start to see, again, the possibility of some problems out across portions of the area there. That is something that we're going to have to watch, again, with a lot of interest out that direction. So this is going to be, again, something we have to see into and around portions of the area close to, let me see if I can design this really carefully. This isn't going to let me do this. I guess not. I'm not too used to this thing just yet. So, okay, well, that's not going to work. Okay, never mind. So that right there is, again, going to be the worst of the worst for now. It doesn't look huge. It doesn't look like it's going to be, again, too much of a major concern. But by Friday, that second portion of the storm system, that's where we could see more potential of anything involving rain mixed with snow, and some of that down to around portions of the area around Alabama and maybe east central Mississippi. So that will be the possibility of seeing. And keep in mind, we're looking again at half an inch, a third of an inch, 2/10 of an inch, less than a tenth of an inch in some of the areas. The heaviest opportunity for snow down toward Birmingham as that storm system comes up along the Gulf Coast states. So that is something we're going to be watching with a lot more interest than anything else, because that'll be the heaviest activity, and that'll be the second portion of this storm system going on through the area. So what are we looking for tonight? Temperatures, again, will be decently chilly, 20s to around just about 30 degrees. Heading into tomorrow morning, the snow begins into around daybreak. High temperatures back in the upper 30s or so to the lower 40s. Heading toward Thursday night, low temperatures even colder in the 20s and the upper teens in some locations, and the snowfall should be again on its way out early on, but then another possibility that snow makes its way in by early Friday, and that's that storm system diving down to the Gulf Coast. So we may see more potential for that snow out there, and high temperatures on Friday won't even get above freezing across much of the Mid-South. So we've got the temperatures pretty well primed for snowfall. We just don't have a ton of moisture for this thing just yet, and that's why we got some fairly pitiful amounts of snow across much of the area. Let's go back to Thursday and take a look at what we've got. Snowfall amounts as we go toward noon on Thursday, basically goose eggs. 1/10 of an inch in the blue shaded category. That is, again, really as good as it gets. Maybe 2/10 of an inch up toward the Union City area for the most part, and that's about all. Thursday night, another 1/10 of an inch east of the metro into parts of West Tennessee and into around northeast areas of Mississippi, and beyond that, not really much happens after Thursday. Then we get into Friday. That next potential storm system, the double whammy, the number 2 system right there, comes on through, and that could drop, it looks like maybe, as you can see there, about a 2/10 of an inch in Memphis, and that'll be around Friday at noon. So we're going to get maybe about 24 hours worth of light snow off and on. It's not going to be a blizzard. It's not going to be snowman building material. It's going to be probably some very dry flakes. You're going to see some much different types of snowflakes out of this one because the atmosphere is just entirely too dry. Even the dew points are going to be exceptionally dry as we go toward the evening hours, where numbers are going to be well below the actual temperatures, and that means the atmosphere is definitely not going to be saturated by moisture. So we are just not seeing a great deal of huge amounts of snowfall out of this. Low temperatures Friday night, teens and around 20 degrees. Winds, fortunately, will be a little bit lighter, but that's going to be some pretty good wind chills going into Saturday morning. Highs on Saturday around freezing at best, and all the rain and snow and everything else we could possibly get out of that system will be departing the area and leaving, going away from us, so that's looking pretty good. Next chance of anything involving moisture, it looks like it's going to be several days in the future. Definitely is not going to be the weekend. At least we get some sunshine out of that, and going into next Monday night and Tuesday, some more showers starting to make their way on through, but temperatures will be way back to near normal, back into the lower to mid 50s or so across much of the area. Here's something you can do as a citizen scientist. Download the MPing app, M-P-I-N-G. It's a precipitation reporting app. What happens in a storm system that's forecast doesn't necessarily mean that is exactly what's going to fall. Your reports that show what's coming down, whether it's a combination of rain, sleet, snow, or all of the above, even hail, depending on how powerful the storm system is, if you can report that, then the National Weather Service and meteorologists and research people can take a look at your data, compare it to what the radar was showing and what the computer model said, put that together, and working together, we can all make a much more accurate forecast. This was developed by the National Severe Storms Laboratory in Norman, Oklahoma, the University of Oklahoma, CIMMS, the Cooperative Institute for Mesoscale Meteorological Studies, and was featured into Scientific American's list of 8 apps that turn citizens into scientists. All you have to do is download it on the App Store, get it on Google Play. Information about what this data is used for from the National Severe Storms Laboratory, NSSL. Great opportunity for you to help out, and if you would like to do that, all you have to do is just learn a little bit more about what goes on with MPING. You go to mping.ou.edu, and you can see all these reports coming on through. That information is reported from various people around the United States as to what they see, where, when, and how much. And that's all you do. And that's a great opportunity for you to practice some citizen science. So please consider downloading this app at some point in time so that you can participate in this. More information on that, I'll be posting that to my Facebook page at facebook.com/Austen Onek WREG. Thanks to everybody out there for some great sunset pictures out there tonight. Vote in my co-anchors poll. Miss Nina Harrelson does not like Snowfall. What about you? Take her Twitter poll and find out more about what everybody else is saying. And tons of information about the forecast, rescue information for dogs and cats around the Mid-South that you can help out with, including great rescue groups of the Mid-South group. And again, thanks to everybody for all those great pictures out there. If you'd like to see more about what's going on, and on Twitter at twitter.com/Aonek_WREG3. I'll have more information about the forecast as it changes into tomorrow morning, so stay tuned for more with me bright and early here on our Google Hangouts, and also more on Facebook, as we posted this coming up a little bit later on, and of course as necessary on various other apps as well. Things again will change on this forecast, whether it's up or down. You need to stay tuned on this to see what actually happens. We get again these storm systems coming on through, especially with winter weather. A lot can change to where you can have moisture coming in unexpectedly that was not called for in the forecast by a lot of the computer models, because it just was not enough to be recognized at one point in time. And that can happen. That's not imperfection. That's not the government lying to you. That's just the nature of forecasting for these winter storms. So yes, it looks like we're going to get something. No, it does not look like it's going to be anything huge, but we'll be talking about that again over the course of the next several hours into tomorrow and beyond. This is, again, a very changeable situation, so you've really got to stay up to date on what goes on there. Questions, again, let me know, austin.onek@wreg.com. Best place to contact me is right here. Facebook Messenger kind of, sort of, doesn't exactly work all the time, so this will be your best bet. And we'll have more information on the rest of the forecast, again, coming up with Jim Jaggers tonight on News Channel 3 at 10, and with Todd Demers bright and early on Thursday morning. Live and direct from House Onek, I'm meteorologist Austen Onek. Thanks for joining me. For more information, as to what's going on with the forecast, we'll have more details again to follow, so stay tuned for more on News Channel 3 on air and online.